Existing structure will contain a residential use, and the proposed structure would contain a residential use. That's the way that the city has been interpreting this provision.
This Commissioner Margolis, I'm really in disbelief that, and it's not the first time on this commission that we've found some, what I would consider loopholes or vague policies that seem to be in conflict with the city's stated purpose of preserving affordable housing throughout the city. And I guess at this point, we have our expert opinion from the city and like other things like I would say similar to the zoning discussion we're having about what the current zoning use is once again appears to be, I mean, I'm not a legal expert, I don't know, I don't have no expert opinion about how to interpret the IAP. But it at best, what we're hearing is this is a policy that, and I heard that it is an interim act and it needs to be finalized, and I'll suggest once again that the city really do its best to finalize this and make sure that it's something that actually makes sense in terms of our housing crisis.
Just as a point of clarification, this is Juliet again, city planning. The distinction between the code and the provisions of the IAP and the Mello Act is that the code defines an apartment hotel, I'm just going to read it, a residential building designed or used for both 2 or more dwelling units and 6 or more guest rooms or suites or rooms. The IAP has a different definition for a residential unit that's not in our code. So that's why we sort of have to consider both.
All right, Commissioner Margolis, I do have one other question which has to do with the historic, any of the ordinances and laws regarding historic properties. We heard testimony from the appellant about protection of historic uses, and I'd like to ask for clarification from the city about your response to what we heard in that testimony about the right to those historic uses.
David Weintraub, zoning administrator. There's a couple of components to this. One is the language that's in the historic building code. The California Historic Building Code talks about historic uses can be restored, but there's inconsistent interpretations as I try to do that research about is a commercial use a commercial use. Let's say you had some earlier use in there, like it was a dental office or it was a small retail thing, whatever it was. Could you then go back and use it again if the interceding time a different use was there? The applicant is arguing, or the appellant is arguing that they have the right to do that. The flip side of that is that building code doesn't dictate zoning. So that a building code talks to a building that's commercial versus a building that is residential, and its ability to go back and go get any use that's in that residential or that commercial use of the building. There's different requirements in a residential building than there are in a commercial building, exiting all sorts of various provisions. So there's 2 different kind of components there. The use is in a commercial or a residential category, and then there's actual C of Os that had a legal prior use. If I don't have a legal prior use, I really can't restore it. So the argument is, even if their argument were salient and accurate, would it allow you to go to a hotel? And I don't think that they have any C of O here that got them to a hotel at any point.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, I'm going to officially close public comment now, and I'd like to our commissioners to deliberate on